Hi to everyone else that doesn't know me, but I'm Bree O'Gara, and I'm 47 years old. I'm married. I have four kids that I gave birth to. I have a 26-year-old stepdaughter, 20-year-old boy, 17-year-old girl, and then 14 and 11-year-old boys. So, two girls, three boys, three dogs, three furry friends, and a grandbaby and another one on the way. So my 26-year-old stepdaughter has our 4-year-old grandson, and then she's due on Monday with our second grandson. So yeah, so busy, busy, but it's all good. And yeah, I just love life. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I love people. Um, my family is my world. You probably tell Holly and I have some similarities, which is what drew me to Amplify was Holly. Because I'll get into that a little bit later, but I looked for everything under the sun. If you could think of making money that way, I've probably thought about it or tried it.
I love
So
it.
hopefully a lot of you will be able to relate to some of that as we get into this, but I'm so grateful to be here and happy to meet all of you.
Yay. Well, thank you so much. Bree is one of our first students in Amplify when we first started. I think you joined in March of last year or April of last year, if that's
April.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So we've been around, I think I shared this, and most of you know, a little over a year now, which is so exciting. And Bree was one of our first. And so Bree, what were you doing before you joined Amplify?
Okay, so I was a stay-at-home mom since I had my 20-year-old. And but I always and I didn't do anything for probably 5 years making money. I just literally raised babies and kept having babies. But eventually I got to a point where I really wanted to, I missed kind of an adult life and bringing in some income. Fortunately, I will say my husband is an audiologist and he has had an amazing job and taken great care of us, but it doesn't mean we've never struggled financially because living on one income with that many kids, it there were struggles still sometimes, but we have been fortunate that he has had a good job. So and he works really hard for us. And so, but I got to a point where after I had my fourth baby, I knew I was done. I was more in me that I wanted to give other than just being, I don't want to say just being a mom because that is a massive full-time job in itself. I will never say just being a mom. I don't like that. But I, it was the one thing I really wanted to do, but I could feel myself being drawn to maybe more. And so, but man, with the four kids, as Holly knows, there's not a lot of time for a lot more. So you got to be pretty creative. I've always had a passion for health and wellness. It's been my thing since I was 14 years old. It's been my jam. And I got my degree in physical education and nutrition. My mom, I didn't know what I wanted to do in college. My mom said, find something you like to do. I said, I love to work out. She's like, then go that route, do something with it. So I was going to be a high school health and PE teacher so I could teach kids how to be healthy. That was plan B. Plan A was to get married and have lots of babies. Plan A worked, and I was excited about that. But eventually, like I said, I wanted more. So I found network marketing, and I did network marketing for 10 plus years in a health and wellness company. And then long story, won't get into it all, but I left that, and COVID hit, and our public school system shut down. Our town shut down for a year and a half. So our kids, all four of my kids were at home. I am not a homeschool teacher. Just let me just put that out there. I am their mom and I teach them every other thing in the book, but not academics. That's just something I've always left specialist teachers. Teachers are amazing. They're angels on earth. I let them do their job with my kids. So when public school shut down, I was like, oh my gosh. Well, one of the reasons we were out so long is because they didn't have enough subs. And I was like, fine. I got all my teaching. I didn't have an actual degree. I didn't do my student teaching, but I had enough to let me be an emergency sub. So I substitute taught from COVID, so 2020 when we finally went back to school till right before I started Amplify. Actually, I kind of still did when I was in Amplify. So that's what I did. And once I started Amplify, and then I started in April, and then I went through all of that. And then, yeah, got my first placement. We'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of what brought me to Amplify.
That. And what was it that made you said you tried so many things. And I remember when we talked and we had a call together, you were like, I've looked at this program, I've looked at this, I've done Tony Robbins stuff, I was in network marketing. What was it that made you feel like this is the next step for me?
You. It was legit you. Um, I could make it sound more glamorous, but I literally looked at Amazon, that selling stuff on Amazon and being a drop shipper. And I mean, you guys, the 497 courses that you create your own sales funnels. And I mean, guys, I name it. I did so many calls with so many people. I did calls from people in Germany and countries I couldn't even understand them on the phone. I was bound and determined to find something, but it just wasn't like I just wasn't being pulled. And like I said, I'm a Christian. I go to bed at night, give it to God, pray a lot about everything. And it was not on my time frame. Okay. God is never on our time frame, typically not. I was like, come on, I need an answer here because nothing was just, I was just wasn't being drawn to anything that I felt like this is. I mean, you guys, I'm 47. It's not like I have, 50 years to start something new here. Like I really wanted to be where I was going to land and build something with a company or with someone or something. And so I'm scrolling. I mean, I'm on social media trying to find every opportunity, all these different things. And I just came across Holly. And when I read that she was a stay-at-home mom of four making six figures, I'm like, that's what I want to do. That is my goal. I could never reach that six-figure mark in network marketing. I came close. I think 80 some thousand was my highest year, which super proud of that in network marketing. That's hard. I worked my tail off. It is not part-time, people. It is not part-time. It is a lot. But I wanted to make it. I'm very motivated by money. I'm just being honest. Like I'm super open book, super transparent. I am motivated by money and I'm motivated by helping others. If I can watch others be happy, it lights a fire that makes me be happy. When I can put money in my bank account for my family, that makes me happy. So find what makes you happy, what fired you up, and like just go. And you're probably gonna fail a bit, but I don't really call it fail because I learned a ton. I didn't really fail because I just kept going until I found what I wanted. And Holly's what I needed and what I wanted. And I believe so wholeheartedly God brought me to her. And we did that Zoom. And that Zoom, it was like an hour long Zoom, I think. Probably because I talked so much. It was probably supposed to be 30 minutes, but I'm sure I talked a lot and made it an hour. But I she was just comforting. She was understanding. She had done what I wanted to do. She had got to that point, and success leaves clues. So I wanted to know everything she did. And I knew she was just starting Amplify. And I was like, I love that. I love being in on the ground with her and learning with her. I was think I was the third person. Lexi might have been the first, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Susan maybe
Like
second,
number
and I was
three.
third.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, so we were learning together, I felt like.
Yeah.
And it was a leap. I didn't really know, what it was, but something in me was like, this is what I want to do. And I'll tell you, you can, and I knew this from all my personal development training days in network marketing, which I learned so much in that industry. You learn so much. I had so much personal development. I didn't even know what personal development was until I joined network marketing. And one of my leaders said, the biggest piece of real estate you'll ever own is right between your ears. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you can never regret investing in yourself. You can only grow. And I was like, I knew I needed that. And I was like, I was willing to pay. And it's hard to pay and to spend on myself and not my kids, not my husband, not others, myself, not knowing what was going to happen. Like I just went in with faith. But I knew I was going to learn. I knew I was going to learn from her. And I was like, no matter where this takes me financially, I know I'm going to grow. And I grew in network marketing. I knew I was going to grow here. So I was like, either way, I'm not going to expect an outcome. I'm going to throw myself in it. And I know I'm going to be better than when I started. And and that's what happened. It's exactly what happened. And
It
more.
so was.
And
Yeah.
way more.
Yeah. And how was that journey for you? Like obviously huge learning experience. It's like this kind of crazy growth curve sometimes, but how was it like when you were in the program? What was your experience there?
My experience was very good in the program. I loved the girls that we were with and the students that we were with. I loved these Thursday night things because I love face to face. I love belly to belly the most, but this is the second best when you're all across the country. Um, my experience was great. I mean, I learned a ton, but I did it exactly how you told us to do it. Like I didn't go out on my own or skip
Yeah.
forward or just go a day and not do anything. Like, I mean, when you invest that money, you better do it the way it's designed. And you designed it that way for a reason. And so I was like, I'm trusting Holly and I'm
Mm,
going to do it the way it is. And so I just showed up the way I was supposed to show up all the time, no excuses. And it worked. Now, it didn't work on my time frame. We'll get to that, but it worked. But I put everything I had into this
mhm,
um, because why would I not?
mhm,
I mean, then I'm going to throw my money out the window, my time out the window, and now I'm affecting my family. And I don't mess with my family.
mhm.
So for me, it was simple, but the experience was awesome. I mean, it got me to where I am today, and I could not be more grateful.
I love that. And I think that I really admire that about you that you just were like, I'm going to do it as it's laid out for me. And I think that's so hard for us to do, especially when we're at this point in like our adult life where maybe we've had careers, we have families. We're used to being like the women here are high achievers. Like they're all used to being in charge and being like, I'm the one doing it. But to say like, okay, I'm gonna just follow this person that I don't know very well, and I'm gonna hope that she's not leading me astray, but to just say I'm gonna do it and like truthfully, like Brie and every other woman I can name who has been successful in Amplify has done the same thing. And I'm not saying that because I'm the end all being all, be all. I'm saying that because it's like that I'm going all in and I'm gonna just do it. And I'm not gonna try to take shortcuts. I'm gonna take the plan, the blueprint that's ahead of me, and I'm gonna follow it so that I don't have to go back and like undo things later. So I think that is so great. And now, so where are you now? What are you doing now? Share with us because this is, I couldn't be happier you landed where you did.
Oh my gosh, I could not be happier either. Do you want me to tell them what happened first or just
Yeah,
where I'm right
say what happened
now?
first.
Okay.
Sure.
So when it came placement time and I became certified, um, I was so excited. That was one of the reasons also that I joined because that placement piece is huge. I was like, wow, she's going to help us like get placement. Who does that? Like, that's amazing. And she did. She over delivered. And remember, I started at the very beginning. I knew I really wanted health and wellness niche.
Mhm.
I really wanted that, but there just wasn't a lot of options yet in that niche. So I was like, okay, you're just learning, Brie. You're just starting. Don't be so specific. Maybe you need to get some experience under your belt because really, you take your plan and you can do it in any niche.
Mhm.
But I just know me and where I'm at in life and my passion of being 47. Um, I know what I love. I couldn't do an accounting role or anything like that. I hate numbers. I knew I needed to be something that I was going to be able to stay with long term and build. So that was just personal to me. Your situation might be different, but that was just me. And but there just wasn't a lot available. So I did, there were a few other things. I did a couple interviews. One was with a hypnotherapist, and one was with
Mhm.
something similar to a hypnotherapist, but not really. She was kind of like a therapist, life coach type someone. Anyway, I got offered both positions and struggled with which one to take. I just picked the one that I felt like I was drawn to a little bit more. And oh my gosh, she was amazing. I love her. She was great. Oh gosh, such a good human. And I love what she's doing. I worked for her for a month. We did a 2 week period. She goes, can we do a 2 week trial so we can see if we're a good fit? I was like, sure. I didn't think at the end of 2 weeks, it went so fast. I was like, that doesn't seem fair to me. I said, hey, how about we do another 2 weeks? Because I just feel like this went fast. She's like, yeah, I would love that. So I gave her a month. Guess how much money I made? I made $0. I worked for a month and made $0. Now, that's nothing, that's not her fault. It's nobody's fault. Okay. I wasn't even mad about it. I learned a ton in those 30 days. I met an amazing hypnotherapist, young girl. She had just got engaged while I was with her. We celebrated together. It was awesome. I have no regrets. Okay. She was awesome. But the problem is her business wasn't quite where it needed to be for what I was looking for. And she was kind of newer, still trying to figure out leads, trying to figure out herself. I think she brought me on maybe a little too soon for her business,
Mhm.
and that's okay. She's learning too. So anyway, it was not a fit. So I kept looking. Holly added me to the Slack site where she was put. I was always in there looking. Applied for several, never heard back from a lot of them, but just kept being patient. Actually, and there was probably 3 or 4 weeks in there where I kind of just didn't do anything with
Mm.
it. I just kind of let it go for a little bit and then kind of came back and just always looked, always kept my eyes open. And then Holly reached, and Holly was, she was so great because just about once a month, once every 3 4 weeks, she'd say, "Hey, Bree, how are you?" She just kept that little touch when she's super busy. And I'm done with the course. I'm not giving her any of my money anymore. I'm done. She's got hundreds of you. She like, but she still just kept in touch with me, making sure I was okay, making sure how are you doing? You need anything, blah, blah. So I was always staying in touch with her. Well, somebody came to her and said, "Hey, I'm leaving my position. I'm with a nutrition company. Do you have anybody that you might think would be good?" And she instantly thought of me because it's health and wellness. Messaged me. She told me about it. She said, "You want to interview?" Yes. I did a couple interviews. I am now with a company called the Institute of Transformational. So it's basically a health and wellness company, and we sell a health coaching program. So people that go through our school and our program, they're a certified health coach when they get done. So I get to talk to people every day on the phone that are massively passionate about health and wellness. It is like my dream position. And so I'm so happy. I love it. Oh, one other thing that when I interviewed, my my husband kind of helped me through this too. So this company's been around a long time and they're big. They have 5 to 900 leads a month. They were very, very different than my first opportunity. Okay.
Like
And
night
I
and
knew,
day.
oh, 9 days.
Yeah.
And I knew from my first experience now what I wanted going into my second one. My first one did not have a base, and that's okay. Like I didn't know if I really needed a base because if I was making 10%, I don't need a base. It's fine. Like that's okay. But I wasn't, and I was working.
Mhm.
So I knew I was like, okay, I don't know. Now, when at the time I didn't know how different they were, I was just interviewing. So I was like, I know I want a base. I know that because I need to make some money if we're not selling anything. Well, I didn't know how much I would be selling. I didn't know their leads were just endless. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
So I was like, plus I'm worth a base. I feel like I'm worth it. I know what I bring to the table. I know my sales experience. I know, and my husband was like, you need to know your worth when you go in there. My husband interviews people all the time. And he was like, no, going in there, and tell that's what they want to see. They want to know what you want, just, whatever. So
Mhm.
anyway, great interview, great people. And I did. I ended up getting a really good base. I was praying for like $500 base.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, I got a $1,600 base a month.
Amazing.
So, which is amazing. When you look at all the
Yeah,
people I looked at, I was like, okay, they went above and beyond.
you
But
do.
they later find out to tell me they really knew I had some sales experience and appreciated my honesty in the interview and whatever. So yeah. And so then I'm like, well, if they're gonna do that for me, I'm showing up for which I'm gonna show up for them anyway. But I'm like, I'm here to make money. I'm here to grow. I'm here to learn. I want some freedom financially for my family. And I'll work hard for you. Like that's kind of goes back to the class. Like I show up for them.
Mhm.
Like I show up. If they need me to do a call, I'll do a call even if I'm off. Like I want to make this work. Now, they're very, very great. They let me run my show, my own schedule. I don't take advantage of that. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm grateful for this. And so
Mhm.
yeah, so I love, love where I'm at. I love what I do. So
Good.
excited. So it may not work out for you guys the first placement or the second. Be patient, keep looking, keep doing your due diligence. Don't quit. Like, don't ever give up. Holly taught me to think outside of the box.
Mhm.
This isn't like a normal, like, I don't know, where, you apply, you see an ad, they do 10 interviews. Like, it's a different process a little bit, but gosh, show up and like, and know what you're worth and plug in. And like, you guys, it will work out. Keep the faith. Like, just keep the faith. And it may not work out on your time. Did not work out on my time. I stayed patient. I mean, gosh, I enrolled in April and it's been a year now. I got this position I'm at right now. I got in November,
Mhm.
right after Thanksgiving. I trained for about 6 weeks. I took my very first call January 8th. So I've only been taking calls for what? What is that? January 8th.
Like
Whatever that couple
almost three
months. I mean,
months. Yeah,
yeah,
3 months now.
yeah, almost 3 months. I've been
Yeah.
taking calls. And I'm on track right now. Do you want me to share what I make or do
Yeah,
you
if you
know?
don't mind, I'm sure
No,
everybody would
I'm
love to
open
hear.
book. Open book. I
Yeah.
wanted you guys to know what's possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Now remember, I made zero. my first. So
Mhm.
remember that. So I had to get here. But my first, I wrote it down. My first month, I made $3,300. My second month, I made 37, and I'm on track to make right over 6,000 this month. We ran, by the way, we
Yay.
ran a promotion. So we had
Amazing.
a 2 week promotion, and I like went all in. And
So good.
so, yeah. So my goal, I set a goal and I told the people that interviewed with me, I said, my goal, it asked me, what's your goal your first month? I said, 3,000. If I can make
Good.
3,000 my first month, I will be beyond happy. I said, I'm just starting. I understand it's going to take time to build up.
Mhm.
And I made 3,300. So,
That's
and
awesome.
my goal for enrollments for this month for March was 10, and I'm at 9. And I have 2 that are probably going to enroll on Monday. So
Okay,
I did that.
let's
I said, so
go.
set goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
set goals. So you know what you have to work for. You may not meet them, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
set high goals and then go. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. And I feel like that's such a good example too of the ramp up period. Like this is a great example for everybody in Amplify right now because I do explain like, hey, month one is going to be your lowest. Month two is going to be a little higher. By month three, you're going to be rocking and rolling. And I think that's like exactly right. I mean, you more than doubled now this month what you were making in month one. And that's great. And it's going to just increase because now your pipeline is full. You've like got it down. I'm sure it feels more natural. And I would really, I mean, of course, this isn't a monetary gain, but I love that you're just so happy in your role. Like this is your dream like position, like the health and wellness. And I think that probably contributes to a lot of your success in it too, just because you're passionate about what you're doing and the people you're talking to.
that's very
Um,
true. That's
yeah.
a big, big deal. Um, I I love this niche. I
Mhm.
love it. I really believe I was called to do something in this niche. So that's very true. And you know what? It's so funny. People can tell, I guess, when I talk to them, my leads, because they're like, you're so good at what you do. How did you get to do, I want to do what you do. And I was like, oh, well, let me just tell you what I did. Because actually, you guys, it is super helpful. And I always say, do I have permission to tell my story? They're like, yeah, I love to hear it. So I always make sure I have permission to share because it's really all about them. If they ask me like they want my job, I'm like, well, you ain't gonna get it, but I'll tell you how I got here. Do you have 30 seconds to tell you a little personal story?
Yeah.
Because had I not invested, I wouldn't be here.
Mhm.
So you can never go wrong in investing in yourself. So you're either gonna make it or you're gonna learn. You're always gonna grow. And so people really like that story. So I used
Awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't really know I would be able to use
Yeah.
that
That's so good.
until so many people were like, how do you I want to do what
Yeah.
you do?
Mhm.
And I'm like, wow, I'm that's awesome. I must be doing a decent job.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and I think that's something we talk about a lot is part of being in sales is like letting people borrow your hope and like letting people like see your belief in them, but also so much of that like you can't share that unless you've been there. Like you can't share that unless you've like not only had the success, but you've been in the valley. Like you've been
Yeah.
like, okay, I invested too. Like I went down, and whether you share that story or not, right? It's like you know how they're feeling. And I think that's something
Yes.
that women, especially, like you have that heart connection to that person to say, like, I know how you're feeling, even if you don't say that to them, where you can empathize and like help them see the change that's possible. So I love that you get to share that. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
Amazing.
Because, yeah,
I love
you are
that.
kind of taking a leap. You
Yeah.
don't know what's at the end. You really don't. But
Yeah.
you got to have faith. It's either that or what? What am I? I knew I had to do something. These people that I talk to in my position, they know they have to do something. If not this, then what? And then you taught us what questions to ask.
Mhm.
And so I ask those a lot. And it really gets to the emotion and finding that pain point for people. And yeah, so it's so fun. It's so fun and I'm just so happy. And just a little fun fact, guys, I'm I'm not like I'm not a reader. I know reading is like amazing and everybody tells you to read and it is. Every Tony Robbins will tell you to read. All these big people that know way more than I do will tell you to read. I'm not a reader. Like and I don't know technology very well. So like I'm it's okay if you're not what you people think you're supposed to be or you have to be this or do this. I'm not a lot of that. I'm not, but you just go anyway. Come with yourself and your heart and who you are and it's enough. Like you're enough. Now I'm not saying don't read. I do audio and I will read like snippets, but my brain just can't read a whole page and tell you what I'm a good physical reader, but my brain goes in all these different directions and I just can't comprehend. So I know that. So I do other things, but there's mornings I don't make my bed, you guys. Sometimes my house is a mess. I'm not gonna tell you that, oh, you got to do this, and this to be successful. No, like you got to show up, work hard, and don't be perfect.
Yeah,
Like nobody is. I struggled with that a lot, by the way. I did. I was like, oh,
me
all my
too.
friends
Mhm.
read a book.
Yeah.
It's raining and they read a book a day, and then they're smarter than I am. And oh my gosh, and I can't even barely read one page and tell them what I wrote. This
Mhm.
person makes their bed every day and is up at 6 and meditating and sitting in
Yeah.
cold baths. I don't do any of that.
Same.
Okay. No.
Yeah. No.
So like you don't have to. That's the cool. And
Love
my
that.
office is my bedroom. This is my bed, and my bed is made on this side. And like just like get into action and go and have faith and believe, and it will turn. I promise. Work hard, it will show up. You're in the right place here. You're in the right place here. I'm so grateful. I was grateful when I made no money that month. I was grateful. So if you can stay grateful the whole time, appreciate where you put yourself here. You made the investment, you put yourself here, you did this, be proud of yourself, and then like show up. Show up. Yeah.
I love that. That was so great. I'm just gonna like end it there.